Calling all nerds. This is More Than Dice, the podcast where we dive deep into the realms of everything nerdy. Whether you're a nerd culture connoisseur, a tabletop titan, a miniature gaming marveler, or just someone who proudly embraces their inner geek, this is the podcast for you. And now here's your hosts, Gonzo, Nerd, and Mizzy.
Welcome to the episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm a nerd.
I'm Captain Mizzy.
And we're episode 306. We are back from our small break. We had some major technology upgrades. We had to change up a computer, and aka Gonzo got a new machine, and so I had to reformat and put all the stuff in there to get it working. So it just took us a little while. There's a lot of stuff that I realized I had to have in there, and luckily passwords were saved in the correct place, so all I had to do was put the new password systems in and then re-log into everything. But then I also had, like I said, all the files for OBS were in a different spot. And so I organized all those files into one file, and so it's all pointing in one place now instead of all through the machine. And so, I've got it, I organized it, got it ready, and then we had to do some testing. And then, of course, we're all bigger and brighter and shinier on here. I increased the size of all of our videos because we're going to be running at like 60 plus frames per second, no problem. We could actually stream at a much higher
frame rate,
more than a frame rate size,
resolution.
Yeah. We could go 4K if we wanted to, but and not even worry about it, and the machine would just like laugh at us going, what, 4K, you're doing that? Because I also got a new monitor and all this other stuff, so we were able to do some upgrades. So we got some technology upgrades. I got a new headset. Mizzy also got a machine so she can stream and have a better thing, so she's not having any problems with her camera.
I can have a better experience.
And Captain Mizzy also has all the stuff on that because she got the old machine. That machine was actually gifted to the podcast from a viewer many years ago, and so we just gifted that down to Captain Mizzy. And
it's still part of the podcast.
It's still part of the podcast. So wasn't gonna sell it or whatever. Didn't need to be. But Captain Mizzy now could technically stream if she wanted to on her own, and do her own streams and hang out if she wanted to.
Maybe. You're asking a lot out of me. Maybe.
But she has access to that now, and so she could do what she needs to. Because all I did was we just took my old machine, put it in hers with the monitor, and she just got to change cameras, but she's able to do all that. Type stuff now too. So we got backups to the backups to the backups.
To the Batcave.
Yeah. To the Batcave. But we got a lot of, and it took a little while to go. That's the reason why we couldn't do it Wednesday, because we used Wednesday to test it all out, make sure we had all the scenes correct in the video, because we do still use Skype NDI software to make all the separate screens, because I was trying to do some research on that to try to get away from Skype, and everybody's like, Skype is just easier and better, just go with it. It's not the greatest, but just go with it, because there was a lot of people that are like, you could do this, but then you got problems with that. And then they're like, if you wanted to use Discord, you would have to capture every little section of Discord and then put it in. I'm like, it was just too much of a pain in the ass, and I was like, let's just keep Skype and go with that. But other than that, we can get to the business real quick. We want to thank Muse on Minis for hosting our channel and hosting all of the other networks that are under Muse on Minis. Definitely want to hear some podcasts. Check them out. We want to thank Cuttlefish Colors for sponsoring the channel. If you like some good glazing, basing, and sketch paints, go and check them out. Really nice people. Ryan's awesome. We want to thank Turbo Dork, makers of turbo shifting and metallic paints. Plus, they are a great and amazing people. I love them very much. Go and check them out. I want to thank Midnight Heroes, maker of cool chibi models. I think this summer sale is over now, but they had a sale going on. And then we want to thank Creature Caster. Make sure you check out not only the Creature Caster page for Judgment, tabletop miniature game, which if you haven't played yet, it's really good and really fun. You only need 7 models for it. But you can also check out their tribe on My Mini Factory, where you can get roughly 8 to 10 models a month, plus a 5th edition module that goes with those models directly. So you can get some cool stuff and play some cool games. And it's actually really good because all of their modules actually build on each other. Or at least last season, it built on each other until it was done completely. I'm not sure about this season yet. I haven't looked at the modules. Just looked at the miniatures. And of course, Creature Caster, they make amazing miniatures anyway. I think that's it. I think I got everybody.
I have a correction for you, Gonzo.
What?
Midnight Heroes Super Summer Sale is until August 30th.
Oh, so it's still going on.
Yay.
You still got time. If you want to go get some cool stuff, go over and check them out.
All the chibis.
All the chibi stuff. We did have some shout outs this week. I know that Martin Mull from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Arrested Development, and Clue passed away, 80-something years old?
Something like that.
Yeah. He'd been around for a while. Was there somebody else?
I know I had 2 from one of those weeks that... Hang on.
Yeah, I'm checking her.
Scrolled
Checking
in.
her scrolls.
Bill Cobbs was one of them.
Yep.
And then a tag team wrestler, Sika, and I'm probably going to say his name wrong. Anyway, words. I am a terrible person. I cannot say names. And Shifty Shellshock. He was a lead singer from a band that passed away also.
Okay.
So,
hey there, Shadow Sword. Welcome in.
Shadow! Long time no see, buddy.
Shadow.
We also got to talk about what's like the super most important thing that everybody wants to know about. Nerd, what are you drinking tonight?
Gatorade.
Are you rehydrating?
Dehydrated husk of a person.
Did you drink a lot of alcohol this weekend?
No, I'm just really bad at actually hydrating.
Same.
And it's hot outside.
Oh, it is hot.
I am water.
Water?
I hydrates.
You hydrates?
I hydrates.
I'm with you. I'm hydrating with water also. So that's what I've got to go with. And hydrating because it is stupid hot outside. It is really, really hot.
Filtered water.
You got filtered water? So do I.
I got filtered water. High quality filtration.
But guys, there is a lot of political stuff going on right now. We want to make sure that you're being safe and taking care of each other. Make sure you look after each other. Make sure you check in on your friends quite often, and just to say hey, hi, whatever. Just check in on everybody. Look around. Keep your eye out. As usual, if you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something, because we've got to work on that. But if you can do something, do it. But if you can't, find somebody that will, because we've got to look after each other and catch each other's back this time around. So, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm not hearing any ahs from y'all.
Are you satisfied?
You hear me?
Never
Sounds like
satisfied.
Mizzy smoking out of a bong because it goes gurgle, 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 gurgle.
Bottle.
So, Shadow Sword, it is nice to be back. We did do a bunch of change ups and everything, so we're trying to get everything going. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the paint stream and paint camera. I am going to be working on some more of my bases, all that base and everything when we switch over to that. Let's see if everything looks fine over there. We are looking fine. Shadow Sword, let us know how sound is, by the way, because we're going to, we just started changing everything up. So camera looks fine. Looks like it's working. Working on my forest bases. So switch the camera around. And Papa. Get that. I got to figure out where it's going to be sitting now because I have a monitor right here and I can actually read what's happening in the chat now.
You don't have to crank your neck?
I don't have to crank my neck. I don't have to be crazy. Well, let's go.
Lies.
Let's not go too far on that. But
he doesn't have to be. He just is.
I just am.
That part.
But I got to do some painting because pretty soon Gen Con is going to be happening. And with Gen Con happening, we are getting a new game coming out. And for those that didn't see,
haven't been following Facebook pages.
Yeah, or following us on Facebook. Whatchamacallit, Warcrow is coming out, and I'm doing Elven bases. So we're just I'm trying to paint these up. They don't have to be ready, but I mean, I don't think the elves are coming out for a bit anyway, so we're just waiting to see. So other than that, so I'm going to be working on those. But before I start working on these, we have a topic tonight. I know we're on a big role-playing kick because we've all started doing some good role-playing and such, but I was forced to come up with a topic because the other two decided they just didn't care enough and didn't want to talk to me and just, made me do it at the last minute.
Yeah, because that's totally how that works.
Totally, yeah.
So we were talking about role playing since Nerd's got her games and I've got mine, and I'm
in all of them.
Yeah, you're in both of them. Something came up between, and it didn't come up within the group that I play because they can't do it. But one of the things that came up was the subject of metagaming, keeping people engaged, and keeping people in character. And there's things that you can do as a GM and as players to help that out. And one of the things that came up was metagaming. And for people that don't know what metagaming is using out-of-character knowledge in character. AKA, this happened to me a long time ago. It hasn't happened recently. And it's kind of the reason why I also like Earth Dawn is nobody knows about Earth Dawn, and so they don't know the rules, so they can't metagame. And not that they would, it's just that they can't. But
no. Nothing.
Yeah, don't know nothing. The interesting part is metagame. I did have one. It was a long time ago, and we were starting a new campaign, and it was like level 2, level 3, and they were fighting a creature, and they, out of character knowledge, they know that they had to burn it to completely destroy. I think it was like a troll type creature. And I was like, this guy's like, I'm going to burn it. Why are you going to burn it? Well, I think my character would know to burn a troll. I said, dude, you just got off the farm with a pitchfork. You've never done anything like this in your entire life. Why would you know this? I wanted to see if I'm like, do you have any history? Give me a reason why you would know this. And they couldn't. And I says, well, you don't know, so don't burn it. And for the most part, it's really, the people you're playing with are not going to abuse that rule, or not going to metagame, because you kind of handpicked who you're playing with, type thing. Where you're mostly going to see it is either people really new to the group, or if you're doing something like at a convention, or something of that nature. That way, you've got you've got people that are really, 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 really new to the game. In my opinion. Nerd, have you had that happen?
A bit.
a bit.
Like I had more the issue where people were more focused on their builds and knowing that, oh, at higher levels I can do this, so I'm gonna try this now, kind of a thing.
I get, like, what do you mean? Just power gaming?
Yeah, power gaming.
Oh, okay. They're more power gamers than anything else, than just.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to maximize my character.
Trying to barter their way into better gear, or like those are more the problem players that I've had more so than like metagaming, because I'm pretty like I will call people out if they are doing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you out for your bullshit. So, I mean, like I said, it hasn't been. I really don't see it a lot anymore. I know it was pretty new players or people that are, you've got people starting out. Then yeah, I can see that it happens a lot more. But it's not that big of an issue anymore. And you just tell people to cut it out. Stop doing that. Stop, doing that. It's not helpful. It's not helpful to the game.
For the shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, you could probably say, hey, maybe it was in your background, et cetera, something happened. Use it that way. Don't just assume, or, hey, would my character know to do XYZ because of whatever? I mean, use it if you want to do something like that. Put it into your background to make it, start of it. If you know that, like nerds, like we're gonna play a game that is in the Fey realms. Okay, well, I'm gonna write a backstory. If it's part of it and going to be part of it, I'm going to write a backstory that has something to do about Faze. And why am I, doing that? But that's a character background. That's not a metagaming. But then you can go, hey, would I know this based on, I've done this stuff. Yes, no, whatever. And then you can, make that decision.
Yes. Yeah. That's kind of like what we're doing now with our Black Sheep game is we're headed into a new area where at least 2 or 3 of us have history, and so we're planning and figuring out, like, okay, what have we done? What's our story going into this mess?
Yeah,
it's a hot
what
mess
knowledge
right
do I possess?
Yes.
Yeah, and to me that's not metagaming, but that's a way to metagame properly. Hey, Cookie.
Hi, Cookie.
Hi, Cookie. How's your ma?
And it's not really metagaming. It's like I'm using in-character knowledge to try to gain an advantage, but it is an appropriate way to use in-character knowledge.
Or nope out of a fight because you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You're like
noped out of a fight Saturday.
But that's something that, you don't want to ruin the immersion of it going, well, my character, he's a first circle paladin. I know, everything there is to know about, XYZ. And I'm like, really? You know all 9 hells and every demon that's in there and their true name? Yeah, I should know that as a paladin. I'm like,
should you though? Ask yourself a deep internal question. Should you?
Like, we have one player that has the sage background, but he always asks and be like, hey, would I know this from my background?
Yeah, and maybe you have to give a role to it,
Yeah.
Would I know this? I mean, there's a difference between, I know that goblins are small, your stereotypical goblins are small, green, and, spastic and violent. Okay, I'm not going to make you roll for that. If it's, your standard D&D type, world. But, or red dragons are evil type thing. They want to kill everybody, that's a whole different thing. But small intricate details that are not, commonly known, just ask your GM first, and then if it's not, don't overplay it. Just let it go. It's not going to ruin your entire character.
Yeah.
Cookie gets it. Cookie says, I know nothing. And you know what? Yes. Same. Me.
And, honestly, it is actually good not to know something as a player, because then your character can grow and be something better than just, I swing my sword, I hit things, type stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's been a long, long time since I've seen or heard of someone metagaming, but it does happen. Like I said, I think I would see it nowadays, see it more if I was like running a game at a convention or first time players, that type of stuff, more than anything else. What do you think, nerd? Think same thing?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Mizzy's going to learn pretty soon because she's going to be running some D&D games for us.
Am I? Am I? Are you sure about that? I did not sign up for that.
Come to the dark side, Mizzy. We have cookies.
I can bake my own cookies. And they're damn good, too. Thank you.
But, like I said, I think that it happens more when you have new players or, you're running at a convention type thing.
Yeah.
No big deal. Just handle it. Just like, dude, would you really know that? No. All right, then go away.
Yeah.
Type stuff. So.
Sword, I may eventually accept it, but I will put up a fight first.
She said she was going to run the Drow campaign for me.
No, I didn't. No, I did not. I said no such thing. Putting words in my mouth. Nuh-uh, no. Try again.
She said she would run it for 7 people.
Now they know you're full of shit.
Sorry. But
thank you, Cookie. Thank you for believing in me.
But other than that, I mean, like I said, it's not a huge deal, but something you can look out for, especially if you're a new GM. Don't let a player walk over all on you on that one, because that just not.
Yeah.
That one's not cool. But the big one that we wanted to talk about, and this happens especially nowadays with us and everything. I mean, Nerd does most of her stuff online, but if you do things in person, even online, it can be, a pain in the butt. It's keeping players engaged. That's something that, we're all we're ADHD, spastic nerds, and we get distracted very easily.
Shiny.
Yeah.
Yes.
And especially with games like D&D 5th edition, where combat can take a while.
Yes.
It can be a while between turns.
Yeah.
Depending on the size of the fight.
Correct.
I'm okay with that, though, because that gives me time to plan.
Some players are not okay. I've had players that were just not okay with that. They did not like having to wait.
Gotta wait your turn.
Yep.
That sounds like they know exactly what they're doing, and good for them, because I don't. How can I make this cool? Okay, I have this many times. Oh, great, I have time to figure it out. And then when it comes my time, I'm still not ready.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and also, like, one of the things that I know that some people are saying, like, put your phone away. Quit looking at your phone. It's not that important. Look at something else. Do something else type thing. But that's, the things that we have as GMs have to, look at and figure out. I don't do online games anymore. I don't run online games anymore because it's too distracting for people. And I was having problems trying to keep everybody, and not together, but it's like, in person, it's a lot easier keeping everything there. But everybody, online, it's a lot harder to keep everybody together because you're not right there. you can't like stand up and people notice it, because like when you stand up at the table, people are like, oh shit, the GM's standing, something's gonna happen or possibly whatever. So other than that, so Nerd, you're the online expert. So how do you keep your players engaged online and in the moment?
I mean, there's only so much you can do, especially when you're on voice only. I try to like create more dialogue amongst the players. One of the things that we have is the Discord, where they post GIFs in reaction to what other people are doing all the time.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It becomes a dumpster fire of amazingness.
Just scrolling back through the GIFs sometimes are just like, what were they reacting to? Oh yeah.
The context.
Yes.
Something that does help me stay engaged, even though we are primarily voice only, is when we do turn our cameras on. I love seeing other people's reactions.
Yeah.
And it really helps me get more involved. And
like,
I'm like,
that, and that's one of the reasons I turned my camera off for my stream, is so that we can just turn on cameras in Discord and still get that like table reaction kind of a thing without me having to worry about all the technical difficulties of trying to stream cameras.
Yes.
Because Gonzo wouldn't know anything about that.
No, not at all. Yeah. Shadowsword's got a good question. Do you often run into the problem of other players trying to give advice during the active player's turn?
Sometimes, yes. That I had a big issue with that, or jumping in and going, oh, I'm going to do this too. Like, I'll ask a check of one player and they're like, oh, well, let me try. I'm like, I didn't ask you.
Yeah. You're not there, you can't do this. That's another thing.
Yep.
I'm guilty of that one.
Yeah. That happened a little bit this week. It was like, you're not there, can't tell them to do that. But that's okay. Like I said, it's not anything huge, and it didn't, ruin the immersion or whatever. But I have not. I think when some people do it, they do it with good intentions, because someone's either new or they don't know the class, or like, hey, you should probably do this because this ability does X, Y, Z. I haven't had anybody, I think playing my character or trying to play my character.
Backseating?
Yeah, backseat character driving. Like, hey, you should be doing this with your character. I'm like, well, my character's not going to do that. So, get over it. Right.
Big off!
So, not bad. I haven't had that a lot. Okay, so what else do you do besides, try to keep them, and what do you do to try to keep them engaged?
The maps on Roll20 help too.
Yeah, the maps on Roll20 help. I have other information that I'll pop up, like pictures of NPCs or locations. If I need to, like while other people are conversing in game, I'll be messaging players to be like, hey, this is something, like this might be going on, or this is something your character would know. Like, so they're still involved with the story.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in person, it's so much easier because you've got your presence there keeps people in it. And like I said, it's kind of one of the reasons why I don't do online role playing anymore, or I don't run online role playing, is because everybody gets really easily distracted by things in their house. I can alt tab over, or I can look at a different screen, and I can go and look at, something else that is happening type stuff, or go check Facebook, and you just kind of get like, oh shit, and get in the rabbit hole, and you kind of like disappear into it. So it's hard to keep people going on that.
Yeah. Some people spend that time like studying their character sheet. I have a problem personally where if I'm reading at the same time that somebody's talking, I will tune one of them out.
Yep.
So,
got to be one or the other.
And that's hard as a DM. So that's why I format my notes the way I do and just have short snippets instead of like long paragraphs of stuff. And try to keep my notes short and to the point so that I'm not having to read for very long at all. And I'm not missing stuff because, yeah, there are some times where I'll have to have people repeat things. Or I'll just be like, huh?
What?
Huh?
Words came out of your mouth, did not compute.
Heart of Michael says that the roommate plays online and spends 75% of the time anywhere else than in front of the computer. So
that's a problem.
Yeah, that would be annoying.
Yeah. How function? Don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I want to be present and I want to be there. Plus, my GM has spent time making this and doing this. I want to make sure that, I'm giving them my full attention.
Well,
exactly.
The DM spends time. Everybody who's in your party is, knocking that time out of their day for extended periods to be there as well.
Yeah.
Not to mention the hours of prep your DM has put into it, and like it's rude to the other people at the table to not. It's like their time isn't important to you.
And time zones are an important factor as well.
Yes.
And you know exactly who I'm talking about. Hardcore gamer.
Well, they live on American time, so.
Okay.
Because they're a streamer.
Still.
Yeah. What? Game at 3 a.m.? Count me in.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's to me. I found it pretty hard because I would have to tell somebody, it's like, hey, it's your turn. Oh, okay, sorry, because they were doing something else in the process.
Yeah, initiative trackers help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Having that visual initiative tracker really helps people to know, or depending on if it's a big fight, I'll be like, hey, you're so and so is up, blah blah blah, you're up, you're on deck, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
you're up next, just to remind people to be like, hey, pay attention.
Something cool's gonna happen and you're gonna miss it, so don't do that.
Y'all
get your head in the game.
Someone's gonna crit and do something stupid, and it's gonna be fantastic. Fireball
accurate
everywhere.
Thanks, Wenrish.
Yay. Kelly was so mad about the obelisk.
So bad. When you don't let one of your players destroy something, they're like, yeah, but this should have done damage. I'm like, yeah, it did do damage. Not enough to bring down a giant obelisk made out of marble and obsidian.
She had been planning that for a month.
I felt so bad.
But it's still an obelisk, so I mean,
yeah,
gotta be reasonable about it too. That just means that there's going to be more mass destruction coming.
I mean, there was still stuff that you guys didn't even find in the obelisk, so.
Oh shit. Oh well.
Gee, you may have to go back there someday.
That's a later problem.
Yeah, that's a future me problem.
Exactly. We're focused on now.
Yeah, I mean, that one's, like I said, I think online is a lot harder to keep people engaged because of, I can alt tab over, I can, get sidetracked, I could go scrolling Reddit or, whatever, and it can become a nuisance problem type thing. So that's something that's just, if you can do it, more power to you. It's the reason why I don't do it anymore. It became too much of an issue, and it was too hard to keep people doing stuff.
Yeah.
Type thing. But I mean, you should, as a player, you should be putting your attention to the game, because when someone is doing that, 2, you said you would, you're committed to play, and 3, you should just be hanging out and having fun anyway. So
exactly.
So, like I says, in person, I think it's a whole lot easier because I can, I wouldn't say impose myself, but your voice changes. Even even if you're getting up to go get something to eat really quick, you can, you know what's going to happen and how things are happening, and it's just in-person gaming is a whole other experience. And I know that a lot of us can't do that, but you can. You're in the moment 99% of the time, because then you're like, I gotta go pee. All right, then we'll take a break. Everybody go pee. Type stuff. So I know that whenever I see like my players are not getting in, or not, concentrating or not folding into it, I'll stand up, and they're like, oh shit, Gonzo's standing up. What's happening?
Shit's about to go real.
Shit's about to get real. But, and it's a lot easier. There's a lot more, I will always want to play online. I will always want to play in person when I can. But I don't ever get to play hardly ever. So I will take what I can play whenever I can. AKA our one shot. I will definitely, you say we're going to do a game, I will play. If I'm not running, I will play it, online or not. So, but it's dual. You should be engaged, and your players should be respectful enough and be engaged. If something comes up, like you have to take a phone call, just, do that, because we all have lives, but be respectful of everybody else at the table at the time.
Yeah.
In person, you also don't have to deal with technical difficulties, such as your internet going out, or your Chrome is being dumb and you have to reboot it. Then you miss things.
True. True that.
Things.
Yeah. Technology is great until you try
when it works.
So. Accurate.
Now the biggest one, and I actually think this is kind of the hardest, because a lot of us like to put a lot of real world into what we do and say a lot of things about it, and it can distract the players and you. Prime example, trying to keep people in character. Not that you have to be in character 24/7 when you're playing, but it helps with the game and keeps the game going a lot easier, because then you don't get off on the tangents where everybody's like quoting some meme and going off and talking about something else for the next 5 minutes that have nothing to do with the game, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
But it can be a pain in the butt to try to keep people in character. As a GM, one of my number one things is always try to call my players by their character name.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the number one thing you can do, is don't call them by their player name, call them by their character name, and it keeps them grounded, I guess you want to say, best way to put it
in the right headspace.
Correct.
Because like whenever I'm playing a character like Zedish, for instance, I'm in a particular headspace, and to get into that headspace, I actually have a playlist of music that I listen to, where I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing tonight. This is the place that I need to be in. That's one of the things that I do to help me get in there, and then to stay in there is when I'm interacting with everybody else and, observing. I am more of a silent type, but when I do speak, I want to do a good job in my improvisation acting shenanigan methods, because I just make this shit up as I go.
Don't we all?
So I mean, and that's the one
Yeah.
that's one of the things I do is call people by their character names and not just "Hey Mizzy" type thing.
Mizzy ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
Volodar, on the other hand, is a squishy Nethermancer who has
Nerd
almost died twice.
almost
Yeah.
died twice. What do you usually do to keep your players in, in the game and in character?
Pretty much what you just said. Yeah, referring to them by their character names. Like if somebody's being particularly quiet, I'll just address them and be like, "Hey, what is so and so doing right now?" kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
What you
I feel like you do a
doing?
good job with that too, and you also give everybody time to play,
Yes.
if that makes sense. Like, you don't just focus on one person or two people the entire time. It's everybody immersed.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Or, that like the scene that we had last week where Dustin was, losing his shit to all the others, except for that was glorious. So even though like the players knew that, we've got a giant dragon, the characters that we're playing are like, this dude has lost his damn mind. Plot points.
Plot points.
What else do you do?
That's a good question.
Remember, this was your discussion that you wanted to go with.
No.
This was my.
Now it's hers? Okay, sure. Uh-huh. Okay, Gonzo.
Thank you, Mizzy.
Got you. Gobos got gobos.
One of the things is always keeping going and not letting dead space come around.
Yes.
That's always a good kicker, and it can be a problem, especially when the characters are trying to figure out something and they can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm. You're
like, what do you do to keep people, engaged in the conversation of doing things whenever it's stuff that's, you've gotten a riddle or you've gotten a conundrum, or they're kind of refusing to do something because their characters are scared. And you're like, guys, you're heroes. You're supposed to be going out and doing this stuff. You're supposed to be walking out and challenging. You are a badass. Don't get me wrong. This is dangerous, but you're out here doing things that you should be doing because you have a higher purpose. Best way to put it.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah, being encouraging to players using, again, the whole yes and bit of improv, so that you're not like cutting people off or being like you're not stepping on people's toes or chicken brain.
Birds.
Stepping on people's toes or
stepping on people's toes, cutting them off, stealing their thunder, so to speak.
Yeah, let everybody have a chance to shine.
Yeah.
Type thing. Letting everybody. Go ahead.
Reminding people that it's okay to not be the highlight of the show all the time.
Yes. Avoid main character syndrome.
Yes.
I know that there's a lot of people that like to. I mean, we've talked about it numerous times about how you should, let everybody, be the center of attention at times. Let them kind of, shine, because everybody should have a chance to shine as their character. It's kind of, unless your character just wants to be a backseat hero all the time, everybody's character should get a chance to be like, "Ooh, cool! I get to do this cool thing," or,
Yeah.
Everybody should get a chance to do that.
Have your moment.
Indeed.
And I mean, is there anything that you do, Nerd, that makes everybody, kind of shine? Is it based on like characters, plot points?
Like I tend to do it with plot points, like integrating their backstory into stuff. Like one of the questions that I've asked my players is like, what are their hopes and dreams? What are their long-term and short-term goals? And incorporating that into the game.
Taking all of our trauma and incorporating it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't do anything of the sort.
Lies. You made us all cry.
Are you making people cry?
In the best way. It's beautiful. We welcome it. We love it. We consent to being hurt.
You consented to be hurt?
Yes. Emotional damage is self-inflicted because we give the plot points and Nerd runs with it. It's beautiful.
Accurate. Slap. Emotional damage.
Yeah, and the one thing I have to say is if you're giving a character backstory as a personal one, I don't want a 17-page backstory. As much as you may want to do it, don't give me a 17-page backstory. Give me like a 1-page. Give me the Cliff Notes. I don't want 17 pages to read. Give me the Cliff Notes.
Izzy, do we tell Gonzo how long Arapsis's backstory
Oh, you've already told me. You've already told me.
Oh, no, it's longer. It's grown.
They're adding to it now.
You shouldn't be adding to the backstory after the game started, though. Shouldn't the backstory be there and then it stays and then you're just building a story?
They're filling in gaps in their backstory of like interactions with various NPCs that we've developed connections to.
It's like a side story at this point.
It is its own little side story.
It's a companion manual.
It's a history book.
Yes.
It's a memoir.
Yeah, I personally don't need a 16-page backstory in your character. It should be about 1 page long, and that is it. And it should cover.
Get out of me as a paragraph.
Yeah. Maximum 1 page. Anything other than that, just too much time, too much reading.
Bullet points.
Yeah, give me bullet points. Did you know this? Did you know that? Nope. Then I ain't worried about it.
But if you do have a long backstory that you have to read through, you can have Snoop Dogg read it to you.
Speechify. And having Snoop Dogg read you character backstory is pretty epic, not gonna lie.
One-page single-space narrow margin.
Oh yeah.
Point font.
Shadow Sword. This is 28 pages, 26 pages, single-spaced. Hold on, you're checking how many pages we're at?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's too much. Too much for me. I don't need it.
28 is where we're at, and that's with pictures, though.
Negative.
Pictures are inserted.
3 columns could help too. I mean, if you really want to be mean to your DM.
Oof.
Let's see. What else can we touch on?
I will say though that having a reference of the world helps develop the backstory as well.
Yeah.
Filling in the gaps of, okay, this is how it is for this other person that spent X amount of time in the Feywilds. How can I expand on that with my experience? So maybe not necessarily backstory, just more content to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this would be stuff that should be done before y'all even start playing. This should be things that y'all have worked on, given to the GM before everything starts. That way, you're not, I wouldn't say retconning, but also not, metagaming some stuff too. Because you want to get this all out. That way the storyteller can work it. Now, if your character is doing something like, my character has amnesia, and I don't know my backstory. Okay, well, the GM gets to now do your backstory and gets to work on that type thing.
Yeah.
But your backstory should be done way before the game session. That way the GM can work on it and use it appropriately. That way they can always make sure they get it and they put it in there. Now, if you're doing something and the GM throws something into your backstory, goes, "Hey, remember in your backstory there was this guy that was doing XYZ? Well, yeah, that is this person right here. That's that's a different story." But it shouldn't be just a simple, I'm creating my backstory as we're playing. I'm like, okay, to me, I think that's metagaming in my opinion. Unless you've got something written up that says, I have amnesia and you got to help me write my backstory.
Like, I've got the outline of their backstory, and I've taken all the parts. They're just adding in their own details about like specific people in their history.
Yeah, like one of them is, I have trauma from this person, Fey creature. Here are the details of that expanded type thing.
But was that detail before y'all started playing? Or was the trauma from a Fey creature before you started playing or after you started playing?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, they've had the outline, they're just filling in all the like minutia, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're doing it for yourself then, because I don't need to know the minutia. I just need to know you were traumatized by a Fey creature. Got it.
Yep.
Here's the creature that traumatized you.
Yep.
You can write your book and go with it.
I learned something about that Fey creature. It's going to be interesting.
Trauma!
Spicy.
Spicy trauma.
Why is this so spicy?
Yeah, like I said, you give me your bases, I'll work with your bases. I don't need 27. After you give me your bases, you can fill out whatever you want, but that's going to be up to you after that, because that's just too much. I'm too old. I ain't got time for that shit. I got other things I want to do in my life. I got other books I want to read.
We know. So, you have a collection.
I got tons of things to read and get through and do things. But I think actively calling on players is another thing. I'm going to take my classes. Actively calling on other players while you're playing to keep them engaged is very important. You're just like, all right, what are we doing? What are you doing? You actually call people by their name and tell them, hey, Tomlin, what are you doing? And it gets them, into it, but it's not just them sitting there and working on things, because you got to get people. And this is, you're playing with your friends, so it's not like you're, calling them out. But sometimes you need that little extra oomph to get people to do, what needs to be done. Oh,
Yeah.
man, it's really hot in this room. My paint's drying out really quickly. And that's just something that just has to be done, period. I mean, it's, like I said, it's easier done in face-to-face than it is online. Now, I do know I've seen some GMs and I've watched some things where they have a soundboard and they'll hit a button when they want to get people's attention and it plays a sound type thing to get people's attention to do something. So that's been pretty interesting. So I've noticed that quite a bit. So and that's, it's like a new round, new initiative, or, something like that, or the monster, they play like a sound effect when the monster's doing something. So that's something I've seen happen before in online games, but these are people that, are very, very much into, the online stuff and doing things constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
got the battle music and the chill music, Adventure Time, all that stuff.
Type thing. So. All right, so we're going to go and switch over to the media section because Nerd said she had about 75 things to talk about.
Something like that.
Yeah, and I only have like one, so we're going to just see what happens.
I only have like one.
No, you don't. You have more than one. More than one, I'm sure. Type thing, so. Nerd, what is your first one?
Lisa Frankenstein. It is a Zomcom about a girl who accidentally brings this guy back to life, and they end up killing a lot of people. But
nice.
it's pretty funny. It's written by Diablo Cody, who did Juno. But I enjoyed it. It's cute, predictable, but like you're kind of rooting for her the whole time. So I give it like 1.5.
Okay. Where's it on?
What is it on?
I want to say Max, but I could be wrong.
It is on Peacock.
I knew that I saw it somewhere.
Yeah. So, Mizzy, what you got?
We finally finished Bridgerton last night.
Huzzah!
Season 3. I really liked it, but I also have no intention of reading the books. I know that there are people who have read the books that are angry about it. I liked it. There's only like 1 or 2 parts that I actually got mad at because I was getting frustrated because I was really looking forward to this particular content and it kept getting teased and teased and teased. And I'm like, you bastards, just give me what I want. So for that, and it's really mainly just one episode that happened in, I'm going to give it a 1.5.
Okay.
So for what Mizzy's talking about is a lot of the stuff that happened in this episode or this season didn't happen in the books. They took a lot of liberties this time. And they like totally glanced over someone else's story and just kind of like, oh, it happened. And it's like, so every
Here's
season,
this side story.
Yeah, and the side story is supposed to be the main story this season. And so a lot of people that read the books were like, no, this character was supposed to have their own season. This was supposed to be this character's season. Because that's what the books are about. The books are about each individual Bridgerton. And they like glanced over with this one person's entire story, just kind of like, okay, yeah. And it was very, very little things were said and done about it. And another character overshadowed that character. And that overshadowing is not even in the book during that time frame. And so it like pushed a lot of things, and some things just never happened. And a lot of the people that were fans of the books and the show were very upset with this season because it kind of went into it. I kind of understand why they did, but for the simple fact that, they can't do seasons like they used to, because now they said it's going to be 2+ years before we get the next season. And I'm like, that's rough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like, really rough to wait between seasons to get.
People are going to forget what happened.
Not only they're going to get, they're just not going to care. Some people are like, okay, don't give a shit. I've waited too long. I've moved on to something else that's giving me a new season every year type thing. And they just don't, they don't care. It's going to be, it's going to be rough for them. They're going to have to come out something pretty big on that. So, I liked it. I'm with her too. I was just, some of it's just, it seemed kind of rushing points. So, my first thing that I wanted to talk about was I started watching Alone again. For people that know, Alone is a reality TV show where they drop people off in the middle of the woods and say, survive. If you want to survive, you can survive. But if you want out, here you go. Type thing. And so they have to film their entire time that they're doing it. They have to they get just the basic supplies. And it's like 12 or so people that are doing it. But it's actually interesting to see, like in the first episode, this guy's walking through this thick brush and he falls and trips and an arrow goes into his thigh, like right next to the artery, the femoral artery. And he was like, oh shit. He's like, I'm bleeding pretty bad. And he's like, this was really, really close to, nicking something that he could have died from it if it would, gone in a different direction. And they have to carry a satellite phone with them wherever they go. So in case something happens, they can call and get out of there type stuff, because they don't want, they want people to, do it, but they don't want anybody to get, permanently injured or die in this. And, it's interesting to see these people try to do stuff. I was like, this guy's like, I've been doing this stuff all my life and I'm prepared for this and I can live through this entire thing. No problem. I'll be able to get food. And the next day they're like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, no, it's not. And it also breaks people mentally because you are alone. There's no other contestants. There's no other people. They come and check on you. I think it's like once a week. They do like a medical check on you to make sure that you're healthy, and you're going to lose weight because you're not eating, and so on and so forth. But they check on you medically to see how it's going. And I think we're only like 4 or so episodes in, and only one person has dropped out so far. It was a guy that got an arrow. Oh, 2 people have dropped out. One guy got the arrow in his thigh, and then the other one was the guy that he just mentally couldn't handle it. And he was like, I miss my family too much. I don't like being out here. You're left to your thoughts too much. And he was like, I could probably survive, but mentally I'm not going to. So he's like, I'm out. So
that's fair.
And that's fair. I mean, it is. I mean, it's a big thing. But I like to see, all these people that use certain tracking and how they survive and do that stuff. So it's kind of interesting.
That's a good reminder that mental health is health.
Yeah.
Yes.
Arthur Michael says, don't drink from that puddle. There are so many times I'm watching this, and I've done survival training. I've had to live out in the woods by my own, and I see people like, oh, here's standing water. Let me just drink. Nope. And they got Giardia, and they're out, and they're throwing up and shitting their pants and so on and so forth. I'm like, yeah, you're an idiot, and you're supposed to be a survivalist. That's like, survival 101 type thing. So it is like, you done fucked up. Shouldn't have done that shit. So, narrating.
Kind of like never cross a Sicilian when death is on the line.
Yeah.
No.
So that's like a survival. I mean, that's just like survival 101 type thing. Boil the water first, dumbass. Use running water more than anything. So, Nerd, what's your next one?
Ghosted, which is an action movie that came out in between some of the Marvel movies, and it's very obvious given who's cast in it. It stars Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. She was the main actress in Knives Out. But it's about this awkward guy who ends up going on this date with this girl, and then she kind of ghosts him, but he decides to follow her to Europe only to find out that she's like a secret agent, and all the bad guys think that he's her, and like it's again predictable but fun. I give it like 2 because the writing wasn't exactly the best, but it was fun.
Better than a sharp stick in the eye is what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mizzy?
We finished season 2 of Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Still 0 space herpes because Golden Girls is delightful in all of the ways. I'm really enjoying watching the subjects that they tackle and how they tackle it. For a show that was released all those years ago, like they had it figured out. What the hell's wrong with us now? Right? But yeah, still loving it. Gonna continue watching it. That's our comfort dinner show.
Nice.
Just making our way through it.
Make a boy.
Art Michael he feels like more shows are just using AI to write, and you're probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Probably not wrong on that. I did watch one movie this week. I can't remember what day it was, but I watched Godzilla X Kong.
Yes.
Right. It's on HBO Max. It's for free now. A lot of shows are starting to come, on those channels for free, so you can go check them out. Godzilla X Kong is the 3rd installment of this the new kaiju movies type thing.
3rd or 4th.
3rd or 4th. I can't remember, but otherwise, it's Kong is living inside of Earth and surviving there, and then Godzilla is living on the outside. And Godzilla is still going around and causing some destruction and problems, but not a lot. And they're monitoring him type thing. And Kong is, down there trying to find other Kongs. Best way to put it. Getting lonely, etc., etc. They get to the monkey right off the bat. There is no waiting or whatever. You're definitely in the story right off the bat doing things. And as I'm watching this, I'm getting flashbacks of like movies I watched as a kid. The style, the music, the attitude, the writing very much reminds me of an old 80s movie done right. It's not horrible. It's not, there's no, bad writing. It just feels like good 80s action flick. The fight scenes are really good. The story is it's there. They're trying to figure out a way to bring, other kaijus and everything into it. And it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the show. But you can go, okay, they want this for this and this for this. And honestly, they could just leave the series the way it is, and it's not going to be. You don't have to add anything else or anybody else, so it's not a big deal. It could be the end of the series if you want to say that. But I enjoyed it. It was good fun. It was good combat, good kaiju fighting. Got to see other different kaijus. Got to figure out what was going on. They don't need to make another one. Just let it go. Do something different.
But of course they're going to make another one.
Of course they are. I'm sure they've got another one, and they're going to drag it out as far as they can and as much as they can because they just want, it comes down to money. And they can do a ton of CGI scenes, and it's not going to matter. The CGI was really good, so I mean that's like I said, there wasn't anything wrong with that. But I will tell you, if I was living in this world where these kaijus are here, I would never live within like hundreds of miles of a shoreline.
Right.
I would be like, give me North Dakota. Godzilla's not coming to North Dakota. Kong's not coming to North Dakota. Put me, the middle of the United States or, that type of thing, South Dakota type thing. But I would never live near any shore because everything that happens is right next to the shoreline and everybody gets beat up type thing. So it's good. I give it a 1. There was a little bit of, whatevers, but it was worth it. It was still good fun, good kaiju beat up movie. Good solid one. Good, like I said, good. Remind me of a good solid 80s movie. Give me flashback to 80s movies. Mizzy?
I've been making my way through Doshes and Dungeon as well. I am
Yay!
up to episode 18, and Senshi is everything. I want to be Senshi, and I want to eat all of Senshi's food. So far, I'm really enjoying it. Not going to rate it just yet, but it is everything that it is hyped up to be. I'm here for it.
Very solid.
Yep.
I'm glad it got renewed.
I watched The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the Hunger Games prequel. That was interesting. It had some fun action. Like, who the character will eventually become. So seeing that story arc happen is interesting. But, like, I had a hard time caring about the characters.
It's sort of like Anakin Skywalker. I don't know if I want to give him any sympathy.
Yeah.
Because I know what
sympathy,
Anakin becomes.
question mark?
Yeah. I know what Anakin becomes.
Exactly. So it was just kind of I give it like 1.5, 2. I prefer the actual Hunger Games, though I'm curious because they're going to be coming out with another prequel.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that they were doing another one. My next one? Oh, I got plenty of them. Another one I did, Art of Michael Alkalite, which is the next episode of the new Star Wars show series. They're still building, they're still doing stuff. This one wasn't the greatest episode so far, but it was fine. I liked it. I still want to see things. It's still hard. Not this last episode, the episode before, where they first show the Sith, it was amazing.
Awesome.
He came in and he kicked the shit out of people. Exactly what I wanted him to do.
Nice.
I was 100% happy with the Sith episode. And now they're just building on the story and bringing it up. And so far, they said they want to do like 2 to 3 seasons of it. And I'm like, if you can get the funding for it, sure. But there's a lot of people that, don't care for it.
Yeah.
Shadow Sword is right. It's one of the best lightsaber fights and the thing is, this person acted like a Sith. They're like, I'm going to fucking kill every one of you and I'm going to do it in the most brutal way possible because I want you to fear me. And he does. And I'm like, this is what I want. This is what I want a Sith to be. It was great. And then the episode that just happened this week was more story building of why we're doing things, what's happening, etc., etc. And I'm all for it. I'm like 100%. Let's do it. Let's kick the shit out of things. Let's cause problems.
Yeah.
So I'll rate it later when it comes. Once it's finally done, and if we get another season, even better. But I'm enjoying it still. Mizzy, you got anything?
I had every intention of watching more things, but I played like 10, 12 hours of Baldur's Gate 3.
And maybe you can talk about that for a minute.
I'm exploring, looting everything, fucking around, saying the wrong things and getting attacked. But I blame Gonzo on that one because he's like, open this door.
Never listen to Gonzo. Never. Ever.
Don't open this door, interrupt the bugbear and the orc or whatever it
Ogre.
is, and ogre, yeah, and fuck up and say the wrong thing and die, and great, we love
Then
it.
I just died.
And then I died, but I fixed it, so it's fine. We fixed it, so it's fine. But yeah, really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I finally get to play it and be a cool kid.
Nerd.
I watched Abigail, which is a horror movie. Without spoiling too much, it is a kind of thriller heist kidnapping that goes wrong, and the little girl is not what you expect her to be.
I think I saw the trailer for that.
It had a pretty decent cast. Giancarlo Esposito even shows up for a little bit. But no, the little girl who plays Abigail is really, really fun, and that was the good kind of like campy horror that I enjoy. So I give it like 1.
Nice.
Yee.
So campy horror, not something that is going to make me be more terrified of children?
Correct.
Okay.
She's no ordinary child.
I have been playing with Captain Mizzy. I have been playing Final Fantasy XIV. The new expansion dropped, Dawn Trail, which is new zones, new bad guys, new story, new classes, aka jobs. The 2 new jobs is Viper, which is a sword dual wielder that is a fast attack type model, and then the Pictomancer, which is a spellcaster that uses a paintbrush and a palette to cast spells. And you have to like paint things. It's still pushing buttons, but it's the same. It's whatever. And then like a whole new area and another 10 levels, so you can go to level 100 now. I've already finished the storyline. Already opened up everything. The only thing I haven't done in the expansion is the 2 extreme raids, which if anybody doesn't know, in Final Fantasy you got like basic, hard, and extreme, and then you got savage, and they haven't opened up savage yet. They opened up the extremes of the 2 raids that they have, and they're just watching the video of it, you're like, holy fuck. And you got to get people that know how to do it, or people, you can't just like jump in on it unless you would just want to keep trying for a while, type thing. It's a grind thing. But I've been playing the Viper. I really like the Viper. The Viper is an extremely fast cast fighter. I'll probably be streaming some maybe this Wednesday or some days this week. I'll probably stream playing it because there's plenty of fun to be had. I did switch over to playing my Paladin because I want to level my tank up. So whenever if group of people need a tank, I can play on my tank. And the Paladin's really fun to play too, and it's got great particle effects and can take a hit like nobody's business. But enjoying it. I've already got like the almost top tier gear for my Viper. So it's been pretty good. I'm enjoyed it. The graphics wise is just insane. They did a huge graphic overhaul of the entire game system, and so everything has been improved and looks really, 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 really nice. I like it a lot. It's been a lot of fun. It's been definitely interesting to play, and they've added a ton of things to the game. So, and as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go back and play some more.
Nice.
Work on my Paladin, level my Paladin up some. So, nice. Captain Mizzy.
I did start watching The Midnight Gospel.
Oh.
It's on Netflix. I'm only 4 episodes in. It is trippy as hell. And I've already decided that I'm gonna have to watch it sober and not sober. So, and I will properly rate it after both of those watch throughs have happened. But it's taking me time because the sober one is really hard. So, but it is. I do think that it's worth watching. It's just you got to be in the right headspace for it.
Yeah.
Because it's some trippy shit. But it's animated, so it's got fun stuff happening. But wow. Nerd?
The last 2 I have are both rewatches. The first one is Dread, which is like one of my go-to chill movies. I absolutely it doesn't disappoint. It's got great action, fun story. The art director did an amazing job with just the style of the movie, and you get to see Carl Urban kick some ass, so it can't be all bad. I give it 0 space herpes because between the 2 Judge Dredd movies, Dredd is in my opinion the superior one.
Cool. Gonzo?
I started a new series. It's on Netflix called Supercell. Supercell is a all African American cast about people that get superpowers. They don't know they have superpowers, and then they start getting superpowers, and they have to do some things and fight off bad guys. And what's very interesting about this whole thing is this very much reminds me of Heroes, the TV show.
Okay.
They're just average, ordinary people, and they start getting their superpowers. And you eventually start learning. I'm only like 3 episodes in, so I'm still waiting to see what's going on. But like one person can go through time, one person telekinesis, super fast, super strong, that type of thing. And they have to prevent things that are happening, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's still starting. But I mean, it's been pretty interesting. I'll continue to watch it. It's not, crazy or hard or whatever, but I'll keep going with it. Anybody else have anything?
Nerd?
I have the Alien Director's Cut.
Okay.
Which was cool. Mostly it was just them extending pauses in different scenes to kind of heighten the suspense, but for the most part I didn't notice a whole lot of difference. But it's been a while since I've seen Alien. But always a classic. 0 space herpes.
Nice.
Hi,
Grim.
Hey, Grim.
Hi, Grim.
You know we were talking about
been
you
a
earlier.
while.
I am watching The Boys, which is of course on Amazon. And there's a lot of people that are very upset with this season of The Boys because it is throwing their behavior back in their face. Very much throwing their behavior back in the face, and is very much politically charged for today's political climate. And it's throwing it back in both people's faces, on both sides of the spectrum. But it's very much, going at it. And of course, The Boys, if you're not ready for it and you don't want to be part of it, you're going to get all this shock stuff, all this thing going on. Later, Shatter Sword. Yeah, these people that are upset because the show is now woke. And I'm like, no, the show's just now throwing it directly in your face, and you're finally catching on that this show is about you. And about your shitty attitude and your shitty people type thing. And I mean, it's still good. It's still fun. Still interesting. Still holy shit type moments in there, which is supposed to. The Boys is not supposed to be, this calm superhero show. It's supposed to make you go, fuck, that's bad.
It's still intense.
it's still 100% intense. There's still crazy shit going on nonstop. Still liking it. Still wanting to.
Bigger blood explosions?
Oh yeah. There's some pretty. This one was pretty. This last episode was pretty creepy, pretty gross, type thing. Very, very cringe type stuff. But that's what you expect when you watch The Boys. So we're just waiting to see on it. Mizzy, did you have anything else?
No, I have tapped out all of my resources.
Nerd, you got anything else?
I am caught up.
Okay. The only thing I have is I did get my BattleTech Mercenary Kickstarter from everything, even with all the issues that came with it. If you don't know, it took a while for it to get done, and then on top of it, and when I say a while, it actually was still earlier than most people's Kickstarters for as much stuff that they were doing. It was supposed to, I think, maybe a few months ago, so they're not like far behind. But there was big drama about the cost of shipping. The amount that they were going to charge for shipping was outrageous, and it finally got dropped down, and they worked with everybody, type thing. They did say that they are no longer, if they ever do this again, they are not going to use that same shipping packaging company because it became a big cluster. And then they can't win for losing. That one of the boxes that you're supposed to get, not only was it supposed to be, it's a blind box, and you're supposed to get a blind mech out of it, but a tank was in there, and it's not supposed to be a tank; it's supposed to be a mech. And so they found 6,088 boxes that were messed up, and so they're going to have to give 6,088 boxes to people. Type thing, which means it's going to cost them even more money because it's going to come out of their pocket because they got to ship it, etc., etc. If they try to charge me for shipping, I'm going to tell them, kiss my ass. It's not my fault that you messed up the order. Type thing. Is it a big thing? Not really. But when you ordered something, you expect to get what you ordered.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Correct.
But I've got a ton of mechs, a ton of things.
We are all jealous of Gonzo.
Yeah, there was the one thing I thought was weird is they told us, and I'm trying to find where it was. I don't know if it was they told us or somebody was talking about the posters they were supposed to be giving us were going to cause problems in shipping because they were going to be rolled up in tubes. Because there's these big posters. They're big and they're pretty cool posters, but they're all folded. So I was like, what? One of the issues they had with the shipping is because the posters were supposed to be rolled up in a tube. And now they're all folded, so either they switched to a folded or they lied to us, one of the two. And I'm hoping it wasn't a lie, but that was one of the issues that they were saying the problem with shipping was because they were going to ship the posters in a tube, and then they came in folded up type thing. So, plenty of shit. I got to look through everything, but I have enough BattleTech. Don't ever have to buy BattleTech again unless I want like a particular type thing that's coming up. But overall, really good. I did have one that was broken, and it was a flight stand that was broken. I just need to take it and shape it up so I can put it where it needs to be. So not that big of a deal. Just take and sand it down so it'll fit. The peg will fit in, but. Overall, a lot of too much drama, a lot of issues with it, but it wasn't bad. Everything was great. The models were fine, minus one peg breaking, but that's just bullshit. So highly like it. I also, we will definitely, if Nerd is still, we'll do a painting stream on Wednesday. If not, you may see me Nerd says we are, so we'll probably do some painting stream and hang out on Wednesday night. So make sure you check us out on Wednesday night. Definitely, we'll probably be streaming some some Final Fantasy 14 because I'll be playing it a lot and just putting it up there. That way I can hang out with everybody. Since I have a second monitor now, it's much easier for me to I can actually. I can read the text I can read y'all's chat while we're playing, so that's going to be much easier.
You can probably catch me in Discord.
Yep.
Doing things, hanging out.
So, Other than that, I think that's about it. I think we're done. Keep sticking around. We're always going to be doing something on Sunday, sometimes on Wednesday, etc., etc. I'm trying to see who we can send you to.
I got someone new.
Oh, we got someone new? Who?
Yeah, Goblets and Warlocks. I've played in a couple of their campaigns. I've guest spot on some of their charity events. I'm going to be playing in their charity fundraiser event in October.
Can you type their name in the chat so I can
do
that a lot easier? Make it easy. Guys, we appreciate you all coming out and listening and watching. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We have other things coming up, so make sure that you check everything out. Also, we'll be doing some stuff for War Machine coming up because we got things happening. We'll also be doing things for Warcrow, which will be happening in the next few months or whatever. Once we get our package, I do have a ninja that's going to be picking me the stuff up from Gen Con, so I don't have to wait for it.
That's exciting.
So doing some stuff, but other than that, as always, please look after each other. Please make sure that you're paying attention to things around you. Don't let something get by that shouldn't get by. Make sure we're checking out on each other.
Yeah.
As always, if you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find somebody that will, because we've got to look after each other. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm Nerd.
And I'm Captain Mizzy.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to More Than Dice, making the world a better, nerdier place, one dumb joke at a time. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more nerdy action or to connect with your hosts, check them out on Facebook.com/morethandice and Twitch.tv/more_than_dice. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay proud, and we'll see you soon on the More Than Dice podcast.